that as an intercollegiate sport anymore. But again, there's a standard that's set, and that standard never changes. The papers that you keep, the headlines, those may yellow, but the memories stay the same, and the level of proficiency stays the same. And his career over 4 years is truly astounding. He was the 1985 GLVC Player of the Year. He was a 4-time All-Conference pick and a 2-time GLVC champion. Had 48 career wins at #1 singles and a winning percentage of 81%. I will also tell you this, sometimes people get away from campus and they don't stay connected to what we're doing and everything like that. Throughout all the time he has been gone, he has been one of the biggest boosters not only of our athletic department but of this school. Years ago when I was in sports information, this is before the internet and that sort of thing, the web, so I know there's going to be people out there who can't even understand what that looks like. But in those days, at the end of when you'd have a game, a football, basketball game, or baseball, whatever, the last thing we would do is we'd do what we call this AU hotline. And you'd put like a 1.5 minute report of the day on the hotline. We used to sit there and think when we do it, is anybody listening to this? So we do it. It's the last thing we did. Is anybody listening? And then what would happen is the next morning, Jack would call, or this guy would call and he'd say, hey, is that really what happened? Is that the truth, that sort of thing? So for him, throughout the years, he has done a great job of staying connected with this university. It's meant the world to him, and it means the world to us today to put him into the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, our 6th inductee, class of 1985, men's tennis, Jack Keefe.
First question, is there anybody here representing 3rd floor Clayton? First of all, I would like to, when I had a chance to meet all of the other inductees, I do want to congratulate them. I'm very humble. I don't think that my record really stands up to some of the things I've read and heard today, but I do have one advantage over everybody that's up here at this table. I think there's a much better chance of my records having longevity. Not that I was any better, but it's just the fact that there is no men's tennis program. So if anybody can figure out how to beat them, please let me know when it comes to that. I'm sure a lot of you out there are probably familiar with a series that ESPN did called 30 for 30 on their 30th anniversary. Where they did 30 short films, and I kind of feel like this is a 30 for 30 version for myself. I mean, I was here 30 years ago, here I'm back 30 years later, I'm 30 pounds heavier, and I think I have about 30% of my hair. It is, it's almost overwhelming the response I got from my family and college friends to come out here to have 20+ people come from all over the country. I can't put into words what it means to have a group of my college friends sitting out there, including my 4-year roommate, Warren Rogan, who's still my best friend, a buddy of mine, Harry, who came in from Rochester, Jack Gloss, a gentleman that's sitting over there that was my tennis coach when I was 12 years old, and came in from Pittsburgh. Jack, thank you so much for being here. And then to my family down here, the 2 most important women in my life, my daughter Courtney, my love Sherry. My dad making it here, my brother Ken, my Aunt Toots, cousin Georgette. The older and wiser Jack Keefe, there's more than one of us. It's very scary, coming all the way from Florida along with his wife Debbie. Thank you for coming, Ian. And then I've got to thank my teammate Paul Falinsky, who's been a lifelong friend for over 30 years. Thank you, Paul. It means the world that you're here. One other person I have to thank. I would not be at Ashland if it wasn't for this gentleman right here, Ralph Tomasi. It was 19 1980, I remember it well. I went with my father to the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh to a college fair. I wouldn't have known Ashland, Ohio from Ashland, Kentucky, but this guy's the best salesman in the world. He knew I wanted to be in broadcasting. He sold me on the tennis program, set me up to meet Coach McWilliams, and he got me to Ashland, and it's one of the best decisions I ever met. He's been a lifelong friend along with Betty Jo. I love you, Ralph. There's nobody more dedicated to this university than Ralph Tomasi. Thank you very much for all you've done. Appreciate it. I had 3 coaches during my 4 years at Ashland. Jay McWilliams, may rest in peace. I want to talk about Jay in just a minute in a little bit of a lighthearted manner. Also Willie Elliott and Marty Barrett, who's gone on to great things and is a scout in the NFL. The reason I wanted to talk about Coach McWilliams, and he didn't mind, I used to joke around about some of his exploits on the road. Those of us on the tennis team almost didn't make it 4 years with Jay, and the main reason for that was Jay was a really bad driver. And what I mean by that is he got the van stuck on parking blocks, he tore off both side mirrors. It's probably the only time 18, 19, 20-year-old kids were talking about purchasing a term life policy. We didn't know if we were going to make it. So we finally got Jay to stop driving, and we had him navigate. And that didn't go much better because I don't know of any other team that's ever been taken to the wrong state for a match. One year we were supposed to go to the Heartland Conference in Georgetown, Kentucky, and all of a sudden we said, Coach, why are we in Georgetown, Indiana? That was a really hard one to explain to the Georgetown, Indiana team, but God bless Jay, he lived well into his 90s and had a wonderful life. Just real briefly, a couple of highlights from my career. My junior year, it was almost like a dream come true. I actually went 14-0 against Division II competition, and my only loss was to in 3 sets to a guy from Evansville, and it still makes me mad because I wish I would have been 15-0. Winning back-to-back conference tournaments was wonderful, and then also a memory I shared with Paul and the other members of our team back in 1984. We had the best dual record, losing just 1 match, going 8-1 on the season, and that's just an incredible memory. In closing, I really do want to thank the selection committee. This is an amazing honor. As Al was saying, I love this school. I love coming back here. It's a big part of me. But I think what's so great about this year's class is the sports that are recognized. Now, I know Antoine, he got some recognition playing in basketball, but a lot of us that played in the sports that fly under the radar, swimming, volleyball, tennis, etc. We were out there giving it our all. There's going to be 5,000 people out at Jack Miller Stadium. I don't think I played before 5,000 people in 4 years combined. But you know what? We played because we loved the game, we loved our teammates, and we loved Ashland University, and we gave it all we got. So this means the world to me. Thank you so much for coming out. God bless and go Eagles.